All right. Hello, here we go. Hello, everybody. I got my nerve up again. So, the title of this is Who Likes Liars? Nobody. Hello. Hello there. I might not lean over and say your name, but I will say hello. So, anyhow, enter his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. And that is what I've done today. And so I just decided to surprise y'all. And here I am, Grandma Lois. And James came home from church. And so we came over to his house. And I fixed my background. And it looks good, I think. So I don't know who all show up. But here we go. And you know, our pastor preached this morning on one of the 10 Commandments about liars. And I got to thinking about them. And one time I was a little girl and I told a lie. And when I was in third grade, and you know, I was raised to know better, but sometimes the little kids don't tell the truth. And I was 9 years old in the third grade. And this little girl had a flag pin on her desk, a United States flag pin, you know, red, white, and blue. And so as I went past her desk, I just took it with me. And she missed it. And she told the teacher, she said, I had a little flag pin here and now it's gone. Did somebody take it? Well, my conscience got up to see if we reconnected. I don't know. Maybe so. My Wi-Fi must be kind of bad today. I don't know. Things aren't working right for some reason. So I'm live again. But the pastor was preaching on one of the 10 Commandments about lying, and you are not supposed to lie. And when I was younger, married to Buddy, we decided to go to a, I don't know if this is working or not. I just don't know. I guess I am. Well, I think we're having trouble with the Wi-Fi here. So hello there. Hello, somebody's there. And we was just talking about liars. Our pastor preached on one of the 10 Commandments, and which is thou shalt not lie. So one time, I had our boys. My sister had a boy named Mark Burns, and his sweet boy turned out a wonderful young man. And I had a little son that we adopted. It's working again. Goody gumdrop. Thank you, Dorothy. So, is that Dorothy DeShan? She don't like these live things. She likes me to just make a video and that's live. Well, I just was in the mood, so I'm just doing it. So we stopped by McDonald's this afternoon, because it's afternoon, and I got me some coffee. So I am fixed. But Ben's, it's working again. Let's just praise the Lord together this Sunday. I'll just enjoy. So y'all sit down. It's Sunday afternoon. Before you take your nap, I haven't had a nap yet. James is in the living room watching those forever ball games. It's going to be the Sweet 16 or whatever. Let me see who that is. Pamela, hello, honey. How are you? I'm doing good. I am doing good. Oh, God is so good, girl. So I'm going to talk about the 10 Commandments and the one about lying. And so when our grandson, well, my son and his cousin, Mark, went to church camp. And they came home and Mark said, I got saved every night, Mom. He told his mother that, which was my sister, Phyllis. So this morning, Mark connected with me on Facebook and showed me a car, an old car, that his Daddy used to have. And it was a GTO. And I had forgot about that car. And I looked at it, and Mark decided he'd be friends with me on Facebook. Let's see if I can find that. That was some car that Mark had and has. Let's see. Let's see. I want to show it to y'all. We don't get in a hurry, do we? We just take our time and visit. I saw Grandma Pat. Well, here. I want to get on Facebook and show you that GTO. Mark Burns. Well, shucks. I'm bumfuzzled again. But anyway, Mark, when he was a little boy, he was caught in a lie. And me and his mother caught him. And so he was about 10 or 11 years old, and he always went to church camp, and his mama always took him to church. And so when he told that fib, I called him Fib. But thank you so much. Oh, family. Well, at least we're together, aren't we, honey? But Mark told this lie. So I opened up the Bible and read it to him in Revelations about all liars go to hell. And I said, Mark, you cannot live and tell falsehoods and fib. God hates liars. And then we named all the other things that God don't want in his people, you know, like adultery. Of course, Mark didn't know what adultery was, but I've always disliked liars. But we had one friend. He was married to my sister's best friend. It was his husband. Now, I am telling the truth. That man could not talk to you without lying, because he would tell something, and the next thing you know, it was so exaggerated, and you know it wasn't true. And he just made stories up as he went along. Our pastor said this morning, and I think it's right, some people have a spirit of lying. They just kind of enjoy it. And he did, because if it was a little funny, he just exaggerated it right on. Hello there from West Virginia. So my next door neighbor that I had a few years ago, she was the same way. If she told you a little story, it grew as it went. I mean, maybe something really happened, but she should have wrote storybooks, because she could just embroidery as she went. And it seems like some people have the spirit of lying and deception. And once somebody really lies to me, seriously lies to me, and they're not just, and I know what's going on, it hurts me so bad. And honestly, I have very hard time having faith in them anymore. And some people just, they're going to exaggerate. That's all there is to it. And that's lying. And the pastor said also you can lie by just plain leaving something out. And like it was a certain way and it wasn't. Then that's another way of lying, just leaving out. So I don't want to be a liar. I want to tell the truth and be a truthful person. And I am to the best of my ability. But sometimes I don't tell James everything. But I'm not lying to him. I just don't tell him about anything. And I tell you what, married life. I saw senioritis. Well, her name is, I forget her name, but I like her. But I advise her to change her name, because now she's under senioritis. I think it's Deborah Collins, Deborah. And she was talking about marriage. Hey, Clarence. Hello. Now that Clarence, he's a faithful young man. He's got several grandmas, and I'm one of them, and I'm blessed. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, it's hard to get into senioritis thing, but she was talking about marriage yesterday, and she's been married 50 years, and I was married 44 years the first time, 11 the second, and now I've been married 15 years. Now, what does that add up to? I don't know. I'm not good at math. Some of y'all figure it out. But I've been married, I think, I've been married since I was 16 years old. Well, off and on. I have been alone, and being alone is not fun. And the second time I got married, it was for companionship. And he was a pretty good companion, and he was nice looking. His wife had been dead about 4 years when I met him walking at the mall. And I said, that's not a bad. So they introduced me because when you walk at the mall, you get acquainted with everybody. And I used to walk around everybody walked the same direction. Okay? Well, I'm a rebel. So I would walk the other way so I could talk to everybody. I don't know. I don't know. I can't read it. We'll have to read it later, and I'll have to answer some of your stuff later, because I don't want to be distracted from talking, because once I get to going, I'm going good. So when I met Floyd, number 2, at the mall, when he heard I had been a preacher's wife and that my husband was an evangelist and traveled all the time on the evangelistic field, he thought I would be the perfect woman. And what made it even more believable was I was a dog groomer, and I made big bucks grooming dogs. And so I groomed his daughter's mother-in-law poodle all the time. So when he told her that he had met me and he was going to date me, which I was willing to go out and eat with him, and she told him, you better grab her. She's a go-getter. And I am a go-getter. And I enjoy I'm still a go-getter. You can't help it. 91 years old and go-getter. I met the most interesting people yesterday out on going to the yard sales and down at the church that had that. I got some pretty things yesterday, and I showed them, and they're all piled over here, and Big Tom is laying on it, and I'm not going to show you Big Tom, but he's laying over in the chair next to me. So I had a really good day yesterday. They're really starting the yard sales, and I like it. And I put me a new picture on my YouTube, one like this, dressed like this. I like pink, I like purple, I like blue, I like red, I like black, and sometimes I do brown, but I like to be coordinated, and I do. So anyway, where was I? Oh yes, liars. So anyhow, this one fella, he's dead and gone. So is Lula, his wife, and he would be telling something, and the next thing you do, and you knew good and well he was making it up as he went along. And I had a next door neighbor the same way. Make it up as she went along. But you get used to it. But I just don't like fibbers. And I know one right now that isn't always honest with us. And I see that person fairly regular. And I am thinking that, how outgoing I am and how plain I am. And I'm so much like Aunt Nellie, who would say, really, you need to wear your hair another way. That don't really suit you. That was my Aunt Nellie. Mom said I was going to grow up and be just like her. She was a beautician, and she gave me my first permanent wave, which was real curly. Fact is, I used to wear wigs that were curly like that, but I got over it. The Bible says it came to pass. Everything comes to pass. And James and I was talking, and he says, he was going to buy something other, and he said, that used to cost $5, and now it's $15. Well, it came to pass. Everything comes to pass. Everything changes. Life is different all the time. And he's in there watching the ball game and sleeping probably at the same time. Sweden! Whoa! Hello, I could see that from here. My glasses are pretty good. If they print it bigger like that, then great. I can see it. So Dorothy DeShane, I think that's her name, she bought her a wig, and she said she had to send it back. and she's going to get her human hair one. Well, I don't know if, I've never had a human hair wig. They're expensive, Dorothy. She'll read the comments later, probably, if that wasn't her. I don't know which Dorothy it was. But anyhow, it's good to wear a wig because you can look pretty good all the time. Now, I still have black hair on top. I'm gray on the sides, but I've got it cut short because you don't want a lot of hair under your wig. It's less, and if you have a lot of hair, do not ever pin a wig down with bobby pins or anything, because then that makes them hot, uncomfortable, and heavy. You always buy one under 2 ounces if you can, because if you buy one that's 2.5 ounces, that half ounce makes it unwearable. So I don't know who all is going to be here, but it's fun already. Oh, I catch my breath and get me a cup of coffee to drink a little more and just come along and go with me down by the lake. This is one of those I bought from Amazon. And I've got a good thing here at James's to set my iPad on that don't jiggle, stay straight, no problem. I love it. And it didn't cost that much. Now I've got a good one over at my house now. Got a good one here. And I just decided to go live today. And I don't know what we're going to talk about now. Where are we? Our pastor really preached good this morning. But it just seems like in some people, the truth ain't in them. And it's a bad spirit when you can't tell the truth all the time. And just people fib about little things, which you know better. And that's irritating. This one person I know does that. And when I get my nerve up, like I say, I know this person. I'm going to say, because they're claiming Christian, I'm going to say, you know, you got to give that up and quit fibbing about that part of your life. And it ain't true. And God is listening. And I want to be in the right spirit. But I feel like somebody needs to warn somebody like that. I mean, liars don't go to heaven. The Bible says they go to hell. And there is a heaven and there is a hell. And the one thing about heaven, it lasts forever and ever and ever. And I met a young man out at the Wishing Well, which is a thrift store that James stops in every day out by the Walmart. They get so much stuff in. And he bought a lot of stuff today. So, and I bought a couple of things too. But he said he was a Christian and he watches YouTube and he took a picture. And I can't remember his name, but he was a handsome young man. He's only been working there about a week. But he said God has done miracles in his life. You know, a lot of people's got good testimonies that can tell about the goodness of God and what's happened. And I'm going to tell you what happened to me. Well, I have had trouble off and on with varicose veins in one leg, my left leg. Well, last night I woke up and it was aching. Varicose veins ache. And I have had that off and on since I was in my 30s. And I've got a bad vein in my left leg. I don't take no medicine for it or anything. But I put you know, at the Walmart they sell the supports that can fit on your leg and hold it in. And so when I was 30-some years old, I made me a support of my own out of those kind of tight stockings that some people have to wear to keep their blood pressure or whatever. And so I bought one of them and I cut it and I pulled it up on my leg. And you know what? My varicose vein got well. So then about 5 years ago, that is Dorothy. Hi, Dorothy. What are you doing live? You don't like these kind of things, you know? I love her. She's always talking to me. I appreciate her. I tell her she's sweet. And she is. She's another little lady by herself. And she says, I am so shy and everything. But she can talk to me, okay? Anybody can talk to me. But anyhow, so I couldn't sleep. And I got up. and I stayed up for an hour or so. It took me 2 Advil. I can take Advil. And my knee was hurting, and I've got a knee support. And I can walk and do everything, and they hadn't been bothering me. But the devil, and I know it's not from the Lord, aggravate me, trying to put that on me. So when I got up this morning, and I remembered, I haven't used them for 4 years. I remembered where I put them. I have two, and they're one for my knee and one for my calf, because the varicose vein is right in the calf of my leg. So I got those suckers out and put them on my leg, and honey, I am good. Just somebody. Oh, that's Dorothy. Hello, Dorothy. I'm glad you showed up today, honey. Anyway, so now it's good. But what happens when I wear them? For about a week, the varicose vein gets well. And I'm going to tell you something about my mom. Before she passed away, when she got around 80, she developed a varicose. Now, my varicose veins are not real big. You can't see them. But hers was as big as your finger and sticking out. And she said, I just wish the Lord would heal that. And she just kept praying for it and praying for it. And one morning she got up and it was gone. I mean, gone. She said, can you believe it? I mean, even we don't believe sometimes. When the Lord does stuff for us, we think, did that really happen? Well, it really happened, because I know it was there and I saw it was gone. So mine's going to be gone too. And that's what happens when I wear the tight stuff on it. Next thing you know, it's gone. Hello, grandson, granddaughter, whoever you are. What are you saying? I'm going to have to look at that. I missed it. What did they say? What did it say? Oh, at the Best Buy. Yes, I remember y'all. Wasn't that something? I couldn't believe it. Somebody really saw me on YouTube and recognized me. I look good all the time. I hope you didn't hear that. I do look just like I look on YouTube, and they recognize me. And I want to show them. I was buying me a new watch. See this watch? And it's big, and boy, it's nice. But, see, I have a little bitty wrist. I can put my fingers around my wrist. So, when I got this big old watch, and it's bigger than the one I had, my other one would only run for it would quit taking care of me about 4 o'clock. The battery would run down, so I gave that one to my daughter, the bossy one, Kimberly, and I bought me a new one. But I have bought watch bands and send them back because they'd be too big. So finally, I said, well, I'll just order me some child bands to go with this. And so I did. Now what, and guess what? They were too little. I have sent back so many bands. And then I went on Amazon a day or two ago, and I said I want one that's magnetic, because the one I'd been wearing with the other one was magnetic. And so I got $5 a piece. I got 3 of these, and they're magnetic, and they're perfect. I got 3 different colors. A brown, this is a brown, and a silver, and a gold one. And I love all 3 of them. It was the funniest thing. When you get these watches, there's a little thing in the back that you have to mash down right in the back of it to get this thing off. It's just right in the back. Right there. See that? You got to mash that little thing down. And it releases that, but me and James didn't know it. So we was trying to force it out with some little pliers, and that don't work. So I was going to call my daughter Karen. Then I decided I would Google it. Excuse me. I've got veins that come out, and the other day a cat clawed me right in a vein, and the blood ran all over my hand, and it turned purple. And I thought, oh my goodness, is that serious? So I Googled it, and it said, no, when you have a bleed like that under your hand, it'll go away in about 10 days. It went away. But so I thought, well, I'm going to have to call Karen, my daughter. So I said, well, maybe I could just Google it. And then I saw the trick, what you have to do to take these things on and off, and now I do it with no problem. You'd be surprised what you can learn on YouTube. Just like me talking to y'all, I'm just teaching you stuff. I don't know what. To serve the Lord, that's what I want you to learn. Because I want you to take all of you to heaven with me. Now, got it back on. And what I like about this one is, it says drizzle. And it's 50 degrees out. It's been raining and we're going to have thunderstorms tonight, and it tells you that kind of stuff. So, where's my Kleenex? Me and Granny Pat have to scratch our nose. And I was watching Billie Jean, Just Me, Billie Jean. And I want to tell you that senioritis talking about marriage, that was really good. But Billie Jean made slaw. It was an older video he did, and it really looked good. And what I liked about that recipe was he used an artificial sweetener that he gets at Aldi's. And you do have to put a little sugar in your slaw if you want it to be good. Now, the way I make slaw is I take mayonnaise, a little vinegar, and real sugar, and celery seed. And he was going to use celery salt, but he looked like he made it real good, and I'm going to get me some of that artificial sweetener at Aldi's, and I'm going to use it instead of sugar, because too much sugar gives James diarrhea, and it's not fun. We take care of our husbands. So today, instead of going out and having dinner, which we usually do on Sunday, he bought at our church, where he goes in person and I stream, they have leftover food from Kroger out for anybody to take a loaf of bread or whatever they want to take home with them. And sometimes he gets, today he got a loaf of bread that was like nuts and raisins and blueberries or whatever. It'd probably run you $4.50, and it's stale. But you know what? It's still good. We used to own a bakery, and bread will last a lot longer than you think, especially if you put it in the refrigerator. Oh, isn't that sweet? That's Cindy. Hello, Cindy, honey. I see you. What beautiful flowers you put on that. That is lovely. I could see it from right here. So he brought that home. But on his way, he had ate him 2 or 3 pieces of it by the time he gets home. Now, that's a lot of carbs. So we get over to his house. I had a piece of it. It was pretty good with my coffee. We have coffee pretty often. And anyway, I ate a piece and it was delicious. It had nuts in it and raisins and I don't know what else, cinnamon. So I said, honey, we got home and he was headed for the cookie box because I keep a place where I keep Oreo cookies. And he was getting ready to get him a couple, and I said, stop that right now. I said, I can fix you lunch in a whip stitch. He said, okay. I said, well, just go in there and sit down and I'll fix you some. So I opened a can of bean soup, the kind you get at everything at Dollar Tree. Honey, that bean with ham, and it's got carrots in it, and $1.25, and it's enough for 2 servings. And so I had beans last night for supper, that bean soup, so I had the other half. So I warmed that up right quick. And then over at Myers, I buy these hamburgers that are already seasoned, cooked, and cooked. All you have to do is put them in the microwave about a minute or so. And then I put them over the gas stove flame and kind of singe them with the fire, which makes them taste like they've been cooked over a fire. And of course I keep buns on hand, and he likes mustard and onions. And I put mustard and onions on it and his bean soup, and I had that to him in about 5 minutes, and I fixed me one, and I can only eat half of it. Those are good-sized hamburgers, and you just jerk them out of the freezer and put them in the microwave. You don't have to put them over a fire. Just get them, because they're already cooked, and they thaw real fast, and they're tasty. So that's my way of making hamburgers right now. But he likes raw onion, and I do too. No tomatoes, no lettuce, Just he uses mustard, I use mayonnaise, and I got that Duke's mayonnaise, and I really like it. And I put my Duke's mayonnaise on it, and I can only eat a half of one. Thank you so much. Who was that? Let me see who that is. I don't know. Happy Sunday, Grandma. Sherry Long. Hello, Sherry Long. Well, Dorothy, it's kind of nice you joined us, honey. You told me you did not like live shows. And you're the one that almost helped me really decide I was doing the right thing by quitting. You know I quit. Well, temporarily. But I didn't think I'd ever go on again. Because you know what? When I got up the other day so bumfuzzled and slept over and was going to do it at 3 o'clock, I can't do that. So I decided weekends is a good time. Everybody's relaxed. I'm relaxed. I'm not trying to rush around. It's a lot better, isn't it? Yes, it is for me. And I enjoy it. So I have, let's see now, what else? Oh, I don't remember. But I liked Billy Jean's slaw recipe. He was making some other stuff about 9 or 10 hours ago to take to a party or something, and they looked complicated. Of course, I like to watch cooking shows, and that's what Just Me, Billy Jean does all the time. And he had been talking about me and Pat and him all doing a video together live. And I told him, I said, you know, if I get on it, I'll do the talking all the time. You know how I am. He said, no, when the lights come on, you're done. And now he Facebooked me, and we've been chatting. So I told him whatever he figures out, I don't care. I'll try to go along with it the best I can. What's that say? Let me see. I don't know. Dorothy still likes my videos better. Well, Dorothy, you can watch this later just like a video. You don't have to join in. It's a free country, honey. You're pretty outgoing after all, aren't you? Oh, Dorothy, you're something else. It's nice to know people are so different. Everybody's different. Everybody has, but you would hate if everybody were just like it. Would sure be boring, wouldn't it? And there are so many different kind of people that watch me. And you know, they're different, that different ones watch different YouTubes. But there's so many. Where is Miss Bella? She died, darling. And now I got Big Tom and Sweetie and Little Miss. We got 4 cats here at this house, James's house. Miss Bella passed away, and we cried, but she got a bad infection, and we tried to save her, and we could not. And she was about 13 years old, and that's just for. I had a cat live one time 21 years, but she got sick, and it just was awful. When you lose them, it's really sad. But now we got 2 kittens, and Big Tom, and one called Bizzy, Bizzy. So we still got cats. We love cats. Fact is, when I married James, he had 6 cats, and all of them was sleeping with him. So when we got married, they'd been sleeping with him for a long time, because his wife had passed away a year or so more previous, maybe 2 years. And so he slept with them 6 cats all the time. So when we got married, I said, I can't sleep with 6 cats in the bed. You can't even move the cover. So I said, can we have a cat-free house? And he said, okay. So we shut the door, and some of them were really unhappy about it. And then we got those 2 black and whites sisters, half-sisters, and the half-sister one passed away. And the other one was so lonely, Miss Bizzy was so lonely, that we went to the pound in Jeff and got another kitten that was 10 months old, and it was a little male, and he was real pretty. But he hated her, and she hated him. Now, some cats will not get along. So after about 2 weeks, we took him back, and we said, we're so sorry, but he's not working out at our house. We really should have got younger kittens. She said, well, you know, I said, he liked us. He just didn't like my cat. He needs to be in an only cat home. So she said, well, go in there and look and they let you, and Jeff, they let you go in the cat room, and they're in cages, and you can get them out of the cage and let them run around. And so there was those little kittens, two of them. The first time we went and got the 10-month-old one, there was four kittens. There was four in that litter, and they all looked just alike. Fact is, the two we got looked just alike. But those two was in the cage, and they were just playing together. So we got them out, and I said, which one do we want, James? He said, I don't know. I said, well, could we take both of them? Do you think we could handle it? He said, yeah, let's get them both. So it was Senior Citizen Day, and they were letting them go for $20 a piece, and they were vaccinated. They had a thing in there to say who they were, and they did all that. And we took them two little kittens home. They were about 3 months old. And that has been a happy day. But, so when we brought them home, they said, now keep them in their special room till they get used to it, and then let them get acquainted with the rest of the house. So I did. And Miss Busy, the cat, was here. She just ignored them mainly. But then they started scratching the door and crying and carrying on. And so when James wasn't looking, I just let them out. Let them out and run the house. And you know what? Miss Busy liked them. She took them, just like she's a mother to them. I mean, she just licks them and grooms them and loves them, and they love her, and they play together. It's crazy, man, but it's wonderful. So then Big Tom, which we rescued him. If you've watched my other videos, he got hit by a car, and he's a big cat and very friendly, loves everybody. So when I was feeding him, he was a feral cat, and had been feeding him. When he got hit by that car, he drug himself to my back door, to the steps, and he was about half dead. His leg was broken, and his mouth was knocked crazy. His jaw was broken, and I thought, well, I just picked him up, and there he was looking at me. I picked him up, and I took him, and I laid him down on the back porch on a rug and called my friend, and she was friends to the vet that was taking care of the shelter cats at that time. And so she came with her. They were friends, and she looked at him. She says, he's in bad shape. I don't know if he's going to make it or not, the vet said, but we'll take him, and I'll take care of him and see what happens. We'll see what we can do. So the vet and my friend took him away. And then she called me and she said, you know, we've been feeding him with a dropper. They've been feeding him liquefied cat food and other stuff with a dropper. And about 3 weeks later, she called me. She says, you know what? He's ready to come home. I said, you're kidding. No, the Lord had really healed him fast. His jaw got well. His hip got well. His leg where he got run over got well. That's the Lord. And she says, oh, here he is. She says, and you know what? He can eat soft cat food that you buy in the can. So I said, that's wonderful. I said, but I don't want to keep him. So I run an ad on Facebook and different places to find him a home. Couldn't find one. So I said, well, I guess he'll be here. And then James had a man working for him, and I've told this story maybe twice, but some of you have not heard it, and my brothers have heard it. But anyhow, she had ovarian cancer, his wife. But they came over to see us one evening, and she didn't get out of the car. But Big Tom went out there and looked up at her and jumped in her lap. She said, I love this cat. Can I have him? And here I'd been trying to get rid of him, give him away to somebody. I said, you sure can. Take that cat home. He rode home with them in her lap. And he stayed with them till she passed away. Which you don't live with ovarian cancer. And we knew that. So when she passed away, her husband called and said, I'm moving. And they had two little kids that loved this cat, but they couldn't keep him. And that's sad, but I said, well, bring him back. So He tried to get him in a cage and could not. You cannot get this cat in a cage, a carrier. No way, Jose. So I said, well, I'll come help you. So I went up there and we tried, we tried everything to get him in a carrier. Couldn't do it. And I said, well, I tell you what, I'm going to have to let you carry him in your lap to my house till I can hunt him a home. So we didn't do it right then, but later I went up and Harold got him in his lap, and Harold rode with me home to my house, and then, of course, Big Tom just went right in my house. He lived, he had been there a lot, so he was at home, and so, what do you know? I took Harold home, and there we had Big Tom again. So I run an ad in Facebook and places again. Nobody wanted him. And then I went out there. I had Bella then, and Bella would not eat wet cat food. But Bella had been with us a few years, and she ate dry cat food only. So I had dry cat food down, and I went out there, and would you believe Big Tom was eating dry cat food? He got so well, he just started eating dry cat food as well as his moist cat food. So I kept buying the both when Bella died. I kept the wet cat food and the dry cat food. And now Big Tom eats whatever he wants, but here it's a problem because I've got him at my house and we live at my house and James's house. And then when you leave a cat there, you have to go back and check on them so often so I said, not too long ago, I said, honey, it would be good if we moved Big Tom over to your house with all the other cats. I don't know how to work, and I don't know how we're going to get him there, but he'll probably have to ride in my lap, and you drive. So, sure enough, he got right in my lap, and I put a blanket around him, which he didn't care for, but I was going to wrap that around him, and that way when we get to James's house, I can carry him in the house, and we won't let him back out. So we get to James's house, and I opened the door, and I have him wrapped in this blanket. He jumped out of my lap onto the carport thing, the concrete. We have a garage door from the side that goes in from that, and another door. Honey, he ran straight to the garage door, so I just opened it, and he went right in the garage. He said, I'm home. And you have to go through a breezeway to get into the rest of the house. I opened those doors. He went right on through. That is the smartest cat I ever saw. Fact is, he's right here right now, and if I wouldn't drop my iPad, I'd show you. Get over here. Cat. Kitty, 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 get over here. I'm going to see if I can make this work. I hope I don't drop it. There he is. See him? This is a much better thing than I had the other day. And he's just happy. So that's life. So we got Big Tom. And now, you know what? He wants to go outside. And this is about a half an acre of ground or bigger. And so he goes outside. He don't get off the property. He's still got to go outside. He won't use the kitty litter box. Now, I like that part of it. So we let him. I get up 4 o'clock in the morning and then go back to bed at 5 and sleep another hour. Let me fix this. Yeah, that's okay. And I go back to bed around 5 and sleep till 6. Go right back to sleep. And when I get up at 6, I let him out. When I get up, I feed him his wet cat food. He waits till I do that. And then when I get up at 6, he's waiting at the door to come back in. And he's very happy. So that wasn't a problem. So that really makes it nice that we don't have to just run over to my house and check on a cat. We are free. And I don't know how long this has been. Let me see. Oh, heavens to Murgatroyd. 44 minutes. I don't know what to think about that. This is sure different. You know, I've got stuff on TikTok. I did one the other day, just a short, saying this is me, and I'm on Grandma Lois, and I'm on YouTube. And because there is so many people on YouTube, on TikTok that watch my little bitty shorts I put on. I just put on clips, and don't you know, I had like 44,000 hits. Heavens to Betsy, and I can't believe it. It's amazing. And when I met that little boy out at Wishing Well this morning, and he said, and I showed him my TikTok thing where I got so many hits, and he said, "Wow." And but he's on YouTube or watches a lot of people on YouTube, and he said he got his camera out, his phone. That is our camera, and these are cameras. The iPad is a camera. Don't you like pink? The Lord is so good, children. I do pray you all walk that walk, and we're praying that for that little 5-month-old. When I was up last night. Somebody commented that they had to take this little 5-month-old baby to the hospital, and you know the Lord just led me to pray for that baby again. You know, we need to remind the Lord, and it's no trouble for Him to heal, and my leg's gonna be fine. I anointed myself with oil, and pray for myself is what I do quite often. 30, what did that say? 37 people watching? Whoa, maybe I ought to go a little longer. I'm going to tell you something. You know, there's that lady, y'all don't watch her probably, but she says, I want to tell you something. Well, I want to tell you something. My pastor, he's a go-getter. He had a prayer thing on Monday that he does, and sometimes I watch him, sometimes I don't. He claims he watches me once in a while. I think he's checking up on me to see if I'm doing the right. No, he don't. But he's a fine man. Him and his wife, Erin, and I have trouble remembering her name. I don't know her that well, but she's a sweet girl compared to me. I can call everybody girls if they're under 70 because I have daughters and I call them girls. What are you girls doing now? And they don't watch me much, some. But anyhow, so now I didn't know John had went, Pastor Dr. John Carmichael, pardon me, doctor, had went on Thursdays. And he stays on an hour each time. And he don't run out of chatter to talk about the Lord. He don't run out of it because he wants to win as many people as he can for the Lord. He's on fire. Well, I'm from the South. My nose keeps itching. But I feel good, and James is in there watching that ball games. I've been watching some, and Clarence up there in New Jersey, boy, he's been watching them, and he keeps me updated on all that kind of stuff that I don't know about. He's a football fan. He's a sports fan for sure. I barely could roller skate. That was the only sport I ever did, and jump rope. Now, when I was little, jump rope was really, that's what girls did in the summer. Everybody had jump rope. And we jumped rope, and we had some girls they would have they could jump 2 jump ropes. And 4 people, one doing it, jump, jump, jump. I was never that well coordinated. I could never do it. And then we had cheerleaders in high school that could do flips and splits, and I never could do nothing like that. I just couldn't do it. But I'm not that flexible. I have one leg that's a little shorter than the other. So when it comes to skating, you got to pick up one foot and then the other and kick with both feet. I couldn't do that, but I could skate, but I just pushed with one foot. Now, where was I? Oh, yeah, Dr. John Carmichael, our pastor. So now he's on 2 hours a week, plus he preaches Sunday morning and Wednesday evenings, and we always stream him on Wednesdays. James and I don't go to church. I could never do double Dutch jump. That's what that's called. Honey, I could barely do one, let alone double Dutch, whatever it was. But I enjoyed doing what I did do. And then you remember when they got hula hoops. I said reconnect, so maybe it will, maybe it won't. That may be the end of it. I really don't know. I think my Wi-Fi is bad here at James's house. Okay, I think my Wi-Fi is not good here, so it's not dependable. We're with T-Mobile, And okay, well, I'm about done anyway. I think I've been talking long enough. Can you hear me now? Okay, let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Thank you, Dallas. So I think I'm about done anyway. And it was good talking to all of y'all. And God is good all the time. And I'm going to tell me, how do you stop this, somebody? And I'll read it, okay? How do you stop this? Let's see. You're all seeing me and everything, but how do I stop this? Some of y'all that do live, what do you do? Just hit the X up in the corner? Does that work? Well, y'all walk that walk where Jesus would be pleased with you. Press the X box. Okay, darling. Thank you. Love you. It's been fun. It has been fun. Y'all are so sweet. I never dreamed, children, that God would let something like this happen. Pamela, I love you and I love the rest of you. You know, love is endless, and the Lord has endless love for us, and we're all different. Bye bye. Love you. I'm going to hit the Xbox. Bye bye.